Howdy. I am actually filming this on Saturday the 14th, in January, and lack of good data means I'm probably not going to upload this after I edit it for a while. I already have it backlogged other things, but I've been thinking about Friday the 13th a lot because yesterday was Friday the 13th, and today I'm deciding to rank the looks of Jason. Now, anyone who's played Jason is on this list, meaning the possessed people and the kid Jasons are on the list. No Roy, but Tom Morga as Dream Jason is on the list. So there's a lot to go through here, and this is purely look. So the outfit, the mask, and the face deformities will be playing a big part in all of this. I thought about ranking the performances, but that requires more thought, and this is not going to have anything to do with utilization, portrayal, or I don't know, anything else like that. So just looks. And coming in at number 21 is Demon Puppet Jason from Jason Goes to Hell, the puppet. I mean, duh, that's the last place. That's the bottom of the barrel. I mean, no. If you're going to try and tell me that Jason was resurrected by the Necronomicon, sure. You can't try to tell me he was, like, a demon the whole time, and he has supernatural powers now. What? I don't even like the Necronomicon bringing him back that much, but the fact that he's a demon and can jump bodies is stupid. I do enjoy Jason Goes to Hell. A lot of great gore. One of the best sex scenes of the franchise, but, like, the demon puppet Jason, no. Coming in at number 20 is Remake Child Jason, played by Caleb Gus. Yeah, I don't know. We don't really get to see the face very well, to see the deformities. You see it in, like, behind-the-scenes pictures, but he's just a kid in the dark, and he's vaguely deformed. The deformities aren't like they are in the first movie or in Freddy vs. Jason, where they're noticeable from a distance, but, and, you know, I don't know. Number 19, Tim Merkovich, Child Jason from Part 8. Now, he has several looks, but every time this Jason, in particular, in Part 8, like, I could give a fuck that it's not in New York. I prefer Jason on a boat to Jason to New York. I like that part. But every time they show Kid Jason in Part 8, I get pissed the fuck off, and it doesn't help. And, like, Jason doesn't even look deformed half the time. Sometimes he's got hair, which he didn't. And it's just, like, it's all over the place. It's a terrible plotline, which, as much as I try to take out, like, story and performance, Part 8 Kid Jason pisses me off so much that it's I'm not gonna lie, it's probably a bias. At number 18, we have Spencer Stump, Freddy vs. Jason Kid Jason. This is the only one I think that really looked like the original Kid Jason, and this was also Freddy vs. Jason was the first one I saw, but he's still just a deformed child, and it's, you know, it looks the closest to the original as any of the Kid Jasons, but, you know, I mean, we're ranking the looks of Jason here. The kids aren't going to make it very high. Number 17, actually not a child Jason anymore. Andrew Block, who played Josh, who is the bald cop that gets possessed in Jason Goes to Hell. He's just a bald cop dude with some vague black stuff coming out of his mouth. It's not a great look. It's pretty generic, just bald cop guy. Moving on. Number 16, we got Richard Grant, who played Phil, the first person possessed by Jason, our only black Jason. And if you're ever in a bar and you're like, you want to pull a Kevin Williamson and trick someone with Friday the 13th stuff to get a beer, you could be like, how many Richards played Jason? Bet they'll forget this guy. And, yeah, no, just a coroner guy. I don't know. He's just a normal dude, so... Yeah, it's not that big of a... I mean, I guess the only thing that really makes him stand out in this is, like, his face is covered in blood from eating a heart. I don't know. He ranks this low. And number 15 is Kip Marcus, who's the other cop, Randy, who gets possessed. Now, this guy, if I was like going on story and like portrayal and performance and all that stuff and like the utilization of Jason, this guy is probably my least favorite because he speaks in full sentences as Jason. But if we're just going off look, then I don't know. He ranks here. He's just a guy though, so I don't know. And at number 14, Uber Jason. I never liked the look of Uber Jason. I know I'm pissing people off, but I never, like, it. No, it looks like his outfit's full of pillows. I know I said performance and portrayal aren't coming into play, but that outfit also restricts his movement, so it's less intimidating. But it just looks goofy as fuck. It's pretty stupid looking. I don't know. I don't like my Jason to look like Terminator or like RoboCop or some shit. I don't... And 13th place, which is, you know, Friday the 13th place, that's something. The look of Jason in the rest of Jason X. I don't like it. I don't like that after, like, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, for 4 movies in a row, he's all gray, zombie, rotted flesh. And then in 10, he's just got normal skin. His hair's growing in again. Like, it doesn't make sense. Plus, I just don't like the look. I don't like the mask. I don't like. It looks too, like, future-y, even though the mask is only from, like, 2000. The mask is only supposed to be, like, he's supposed to be frozen in, like, 2010 or something. So the fact that the mask looks so futuristic before he even gets the Uber Jason thing doesn't make sense to me. Or maybe that's just how other hockey masks look and I'm dumb, but it's a totally different mask shape. I don't like that. Yeah. In at number 12, first Jason. Ari Lehman, Kid Jason, pops up out of the lake as a dirty swamp ghost dream. Yeah. And you also see glimpses of him drowning for the first time in Mrs. Voorhees' head. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's the first Jason. It's a very important scene, even if it's just a dream, which I think it's just a dream. Some people think that actually happened, which, if you do basic math, doesn't add up, but whatever. Yeah, no, he ranks high. Like, that's... Like, Freddy vs. Jason was the first one I saw, but the first one was the second one I saw. So, I always had sympathy for Jason when those were the only ones I'd seen. And, yeah. I like the way he looks all fucked up from being under the water and shit. And number 11 is actually Stephen Culp, who played Robert, possessed by Jason, the guy in the news outfit. I don't know. Something about just a dude who's just riddled in bullet holes and still coming at you. I don't know. I thought it looked cool. Especially after he gets shot in the head and he's still moving. That was pretty cool. And I will say Jason Goes to Hell is the third one of these I saw. So yeah, I watched these in a whack order. There's a whole video on that. And now we are in our top 10. And these are basic... We're basically out of the things you put an asterisk next to. There's no more kid Jasons and there's no more possessed Jasons. So these are all just Jason from here on out. And at number 10, CJ Graham. I like the face at the beginning of Zombie Jason. I think his outfit doesn't look tattered enough for him to have been buried that whole time. And it's also... his outfit looks different than it did in the ones before it. The gloves, I don't like them that much. There's no, like, wear and tear on the mask besides the axe wound. It's got the utility belt stuff, but I don't know. It's a little too much accessories for me. And it's very base Jason. There's not much more to it besides just too much accessories, and other than that, it's just very cut and dry look for Jason. Moving on, number 9, we have Part 2 Jason, Steve Dash, and Warrington Gillette. Unmasked, pretty cool. Masked, like, it's a whole other look. Like, this Jason's a whole other look. This is Jason is like a wild animal who, like, he's been going crazy in the woods for 30 years. And, I don't know, the overalls and the potato sack, they don't do it for me as much as, like, ew. But, like, they don't do it for me as much as, like, the other Jasons, because, like, the other Jasons are either rotted or are just more of what I think when I think of Jason, or more nostalgic looking, or the face is better, like, I don't know. I like this look of Jason in Part 2. It's not as badass as the other looks of Jason. I will say it's probably creepier, or, like, eerier, maybe, but, like, I don't know, it's hard for me to really get in that mindset of, like, unsettled when I'm watching one of these. But I think about it in the context of, like, if I actually saw this guy, it'd be pretty weird. I don't know. At number 8, we have Derek Mears, and I'm just looping together the sack and the mask. I don't like his bulbous exposed neck, but I like the way he looks better in the sack than I do in the mask, because in the hockey mask you see too much of the bulbous neck and chest, and it's like, why is your tank top down to, like, barely covering the nipples, and, like, it's fucking weird, man. I don't dig it that much for that look, but I think that if less of his neck and chest were exposed, it would be pretty badass. I like Jacket Jason, because Freddy vs. Jason was the first one I saw, but I don't know. We don't see a lot of his face, but I do like the way his face looks. It's kind of like a mix of, like, 3 and 4. Anywho, if I was just ranking the masks, this would be a completely different list. And if I was just ranking the face, like the deformities, it would also be a completely different list. I have to take into account all of that, including the outfit. But I do really like the hockey mask that Jason has in the remake, but that neck and chest, man, it's too much. Coming in at number 7, Jason Takes Manhattan. And again, if I was ranking just the faces underneath the mask, it'd be a different list, because this would be low as fuck. But I do enjoy just how wet he looks. You know, I don't know. Like, when he's just walking around on the boat with the mask, he's all slimy and shit, and I don't know. I like the look in Part 8 as when he's wearing the mask. I do think it's dumb as fuck that he's got a new mask that has the axe mark in it, but I guess... I mean, if you think about it, in Jason Goes to Hell, which I know most people probably try to ignore in their thought of what is canon, but in Jason Goes to Hell, they're making Jason burgers. I mean, there's enough meat for another patty, hence the 2-for-1 burger sale. I mean, I guess after they realized the Forest Green thing wasn't going to work out, they decided to just capitalize on it and sell Jason merch. It's fucking dumb. I mean, that's like if someone tried to get a Ed Gein mask or something. Ugh. But, you know, I don't know. It's stupid, but it's fun. Again, the mask itself is a little too yellow, but I like it good enough. Really, when it's just all together, I like it. I don't know. The yellowed mask kind of fits with the sliminess of it all. Up next, we got Part 5, Dream Jason, and he looks pretty damn close to Part 4, but he is different. There's more blood dripping down his face, for one, and we never actually see his face. The fact that there's nothing under the mask that we get to see in Part 5 is a big part of why it's lower than 3 and 4, when it's pretty fucking similar. But, yeah, no. We get to see him in the mirror behind Tommy, and when Tommy's looking out the window, and when he's in the hospital bed. And, yeah, he doesn't do much, but he's there, and he looks pretty classic. He looks like classic Jason. You just never see his face. And, yeah. Pretty set, generic Jason, but I like my green button-up, gray pants Jason. And number 5 is Jason Goes to Hell. Going into the outfit, in 3, 4, and 5, he has this, and kind of in 6, too, he has basically the same outfit. But then in 7, he's so fucked up, you can't even tell what the fuck clothes he was wearing. But in 8, he looks like he's wearing a blue jumpsuit. And so does it in 9. Well, in 8, it's more black, but in 9, it's like a blue jumpsuit. I don't know. He's a bit bulky. But I do like the way the mask is, like, fucked up and his face is growing over it. Again, like, if like, the mask breaking in 7 really kind of cornered the writers, because then in Part 8, they're like, alright, well, here's a new mask. But it's the same mask. And if they were going to do that, they shouldn't have had the axe wound in it. But in Part 9, it looks like they think it's the same mask, because, like, they're like, oh, he's been wearing it for so long that its head's grown over it. But, like, how much time is supposed to pass between 8 and 9? You know? And the mask looks closer to it the way it did in 7. Again, this is purely ranking the looks. I'm not trying to get too logistical. I mean, I still ranked it high, but yeah, I'm just trying to... Also, again, we never see under the mask. And never seeing under the mask does lessen any Jason as far as looks go. Because part of the fun of a Friday the 13th is seeing how fucked up Jason's face is going to be from movie to movie. Because most of them, we get to see that. But it's still a pretty badass look. Underutilized, you could say, because he's only in, like, 2 scenes, but still a badass. Still a badass look. And number 4, Ken Kersinger Jason. Now, this was my first Jason, so I'm biased as all fuck. We don't see most of his face. We do get to see, like, this section when the mouth-to-mouth scene happens, but, you know, I don't know. I really like this look because I like the jacket. I like the mask a lot. Like, this is, like... There's a few Jasons that pop in my head when I'm, like, if I just think of Jason, it's usually my number 1. It's one of these top 4 that pops in my head. And, most of the time it would be this one. But yeah, no, Freddy vs. Jason... For the, like, most of my life, when I thought of Jason, I thought of that Jason. So, gotta go with nostalgia, but again, you don't see much of his face. and the look under the mask is sometimes the best part of the look of Jason. And number 3 is most people's number 1, which would be Kane Hodder Part 7 Jason. And Part 7 Jason has one of the, like, is the best looking zombie Jason. Bar none. Like, come on now. His fucking flesh, his spine, his bones are exposed, his mask is fucked up, his face is gnarliest it's ever been. You get to see, like, every wound on his zombie face. It's fucking gnarly. Kane Hodder Jason, Part 7 Jason, the best looking zombie Jason, the gnarliest looking zombie Jason. If I was ranking just the faces, he might even be higher. But, no, I like my classic green button-up, gray pants Jasons. And those are the last 2 left. Now, which one looks better? Well, my number 2 is Richard Brooker. I like the face underneath the mask better in Ted White, Part 4. I like the fingernails. I like the wounded, damaged mask better than the clean mask. And again, I don't know how much bias I have, because I also like Ted White's performance the best as Jason. So maybe that has to do with it. But I tried not to have that have anything to do with it. But again, those are the top 2. Like, they beat everyone. So, yeah. I don't know how much more to say. It seems pretty cut and dry here. Looks like we're done with that. But that's the ranking of the looks of Jason. Again, performances have mostly nothing to do with this at all. But, so maybe I'll do that ranking at another time. If I do that ranking, I might, like, include Mrs. Voorhees and all that, but who knows? But that was my Friday the 13th thing I did. And yeah. Catch you next time. Like, subscribe, and all that bullshit.